Hello everybody, I'm Adam.
I'm John.
And every week we are giving you a blast from our past.
We are the podcast that brings you full-on movie breakdowns, TV show reviews, album reviews, top 10s, and more, all from the things of our nostalgic past.
So please join us every single week on the Blast from Our Past podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. However you listen to podcasts, you can find us, and we would love to have you take a trip with us to the land of nostalgia.
The Blast from Our Past Network.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Action, the action movie podcast that watches all the action movies. We put them on our list. It's out there. People can view it, and we don't care.
You tell them where to view it, for God's sakes.
Letterboxd, you can view it. You can write nasty, dirty, sexual comments about it.
Action.
Yeah, at action on our Letterboxd. And you can, say shit to Dustin on Instagram at Action Podcast. Why not? Anyways, I'm James. I'm joined, as always, with my friend, Dustin.
You were doing so good there. Hey, how's it going? How you doing, James?
I'm doing great, as good as I can be on a Thursday evening. Almost to the weekend, buddy.
So close.
So close.
I'm on my weekend as we speak, and then my week will start on Friday. So how do you like them apples?
I don't like them.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin, I don't know if you know, but we are a part of the BFOP network.
I've heard that.
We haven't reached out to them in a while. We're still on the website, so I guess we're still a part of it. But you can find shows like Comics Underground, Return, Revenge, Resurrection, People Don't Forget, Cartwright, Seinfeld Podcast, Throwback Trivia Takedown. You can listen to Talking Back, Podcasting After Dark, and you can check out some Blast from Our Past.
Maybe.
At
least the past episodes.
At least the past ones. Yeah, so, hey, we love being a part of this network, and we think you should listen to all the shows all the time.
And listen to them all the time. Don't even do anything else with your life.
Yeah.
Call in sick to work.
Fuck. Calling in sick to work is always a good idea.
Tell your wife to fuck off. No.
Hey, honey.
This is bad advice.
Hey, honey, go pound sand. I got shows to listen. Hey, go push chain, bitch. I got shows to listen to.
No. This is bad advice.
Yeah.
Listen to these shows when you get some time.
Yes. So, hey, Dustin, we're going to do a little segment we call Sink or Swim, Seek or Destroy. It should just be Sink or Swim. Really confuse people.
Yeah, they're always like, why do you call it this whole long thing?
Why don't you tell us what we should seek or what we should destroy?
All right. I watched a handful of films this week since we last spoke. Finished off my journey to Mount Doom with those little hobbits. Watched the last.
Oh fuck! That was still going on.
Watched the last Lord of the Rings. 4 hours for the final film.
So you're done your 50 hours.
Done it all. Yeah, it was great. Then I watched this movie from the 80s called Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
Oh,
this is an 80s cheesy sci-fi kind of cheap. Main actor is a guy you probably would not recognize his name, Peter Strauss. Been in a lot of stuff. You might recognize his face if you saw him. Mm-hmm. Molly Ringwald is in this. Ernie Hudson. The villain is played by Michael Ironside, although he's unrecognizable because he looks like kind of like a Borg from Star Trek, but he's got this huge robotic apparatus on his body, and he's got makeup. He's pale and bald. And, this was a shitload of fun. This is a real campy, kind of cheesy, going for a bit of a 50s sci-fi vibe, but it's kind of like Star Wars meets The Road Warrior. This guy, he's I don't know, he's kind of like a Han Solo type. He's out in space doing whatever, and he gets a distress call. These women crash landed on this planet nearby. He's like, I'm gonna go get it because it's a job, you know, like they'll pay me to go rescue them. But this planet's all weird, and they get kidnapped by Michael Ironside and his weird mutants. And he gets down there. He meets up with Molly Ringwald. She's kind of a annoying brat, and then it's just a series of adventures. And the costumes, the sets, the production design stuff is so fun and just ridiculous. And I'm like, man, I don't know how much money they put into this. Probably not a ton. This is not a big time movie, but it feels like they put money into it. I'm like, I can't believe people put so much effort and craft into this cheesy fucking movie. I had a great time watching it.
It's fun when there's a movie of like that caliber, but they just like at every level they just go all out. Yeah,
and like it was actually some pretty creative, crazy stuff in this. Like
nice.
In terms of, you know, vehicles that they had souped up for things, and the costumes and everything. Like it was like they went all out. They didn't hold back, and it was kind of fun that there wasn't like, I don't know, they kind of it seems like they just let them have free reign, like go to town, like, you know, create whatever you can come up with. So that was a lot of fun, way more fun than I would have expected. And then because I wanted to continue those good feelings, I watched this movie called Eliminators, which has like the best fucking poster you've ever seen.
Yeah, that cover art is awesome.
Yeah, and unfortunately it did not live up to Space Hunter. Listen to the plot. The description here: a former pilot rebels against his creator. He's like a cyborg now, who's part tank, by the way. Like the bottom half of him is like tank tracks. Teams up with a scientist responsible for android technology, her pet robot Spot, a rough and tumble riverboat guide, and a martial arts warrior.
What the fuck?
And they go after this guy who's like a mad scientist who wants to send himself back in time so he can become the new Julius Caesar.
I mean, this sounds fantastic.
Yes, unfortunately, it does not live up to that level of amazingness. It's still fun. Like I had an all right time with it. It's not bad. Well, I mean, it is bad, but it's not bad in the ways that I was expecting. But it's just kind of more boring than it should be for a movie where a fucking ninja and a cyborg and a riverboat guy and like all these people and a droid like team up with each other.
Right.
But like I say, you can have some fun with it. It was a little bit of a letdown after Space Hunter. Then I watched Frog Dreaming, aka The Quest. This is with Henry Thomas, the kid from E.T. This is a kid's movie from the 80s. Over here, it was called The Quest. I never saw it. I remember the VHS box of The Quest. But it's from the Australian director Brian Trenchard Smith. He did like Dead End Drive-In and a bunch of Ozploitation, Turkey Shoot, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He's a fun director. I've watched a bunch of his movies. This is a kid's one. I think it's like a thing I was like, oh, if I'd seen this as a kid, I probably would have had a lot of love for it. He is, for some reason, American living in Australia. He is like this adventurous kid. He's smart and he kind of builds all these little machines and whatever, and he's trying to set a record of getting to school with his bike by using a train track and this like a thing that he connects to his bike and stuff. And then like the local girl his age and stuff, they go into the backwoods and they find this like watering hole where this creature might live. There's this legend about this creature, and so he speaks to like the Aboriginal people to find out about the legend of this thing. And it doesn't really go the way I was kind of hoping it would.
Right.
It's kind of, I don't know, it was a little dry. The end was pretty fun when the creature actually comes out of the pond, creature quote unquote. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I'd seen this as a kid, I probably would have liked it a lot more. As it is, it was just whatever. Kind of fun. Watched this crazy movie called Green Snake, directed by Choi Hark. He's done a number of crazy martial arts movies. I thought this was going to be like a wire fu kind of thing.
Right.
But instead it was this like Chinese folklore movie. about these two women who are like snake goddesses who are pretending to be human. One of them has fallen in love with a man and she's trying to get with him. And the other one doesn't know how to be human and doesn't really understand humans. And she keeps trying to tempt this monk guy who's like this powerful, holy monk. And he thinks they're evil. So he keeps trying to fight them and stuff. And it's weird because it gets all serious about like love and how that transcends different beings and all this stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, and it's like more about like kind of magic and really beautiful to look at the way it's filmed and vibrant colors and stuff. There is some kind of very little, it's not really kung fu. It's like they do like a kung fu move, but it's so, they will push wind over here and cause it to do a thing, or
oh, I see.
They're using like magic powers basically throughout the movie. Weird movie. I still don't even know what I think of it after watching
You're like,
it.
what did I just watch?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I'm pretty sure I said that to myself when I was done. And it's the subtitles didn't even help make it. Like a lot of times I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is just so weird.
As subtitles too.
Not what I anticipated. Interesting movie though. Like I was interested in it. I just was like, I'm not exactly sure what the hell is going on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I'll mention, I rewatched The Hateful Eight, the Quentin Tarantino Western chamber piece that all takes place in the one location.
Yeah, I need to watch that again.
Man, every time I watch this, I just like it more and more.
Yeah.
First time I went and saw it in the theater, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, but probably one of my less liked Tarantino's.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've watched it 3 or 4 times now, and like every time I watch it, I'm like, this is fucking great. Like,
nice.
It's just like a play. Like it all takes place in this one area. These crazy characters. Jennifer Jason Leigh is so amazing as the sort of villainess in this, and of course Kurt Russell and Samuel L. Jackson and stuff. Walton Goggins, one of our favorites on the show. He's great in it. Yeah, it's just such a fun, ridiculous movie, and the directions it goes. And of course, Tarantino does his little non-linear thing and pulls it back. But it's more, it comes off almost, in a way, almost like a Agatha Christie thing or something. It's like, it's like this one play, where they're in the room and trying to solve what has gone on here kind of thing. But
I'm going to have to watch it again. Bruce
Dern is in this too, who we just saw in Last Man Standing. So, yeah, you should watch it again. It is long as shit, though. It's like 2 hours, 45 minutes. And there's an extended cut, apparently, on Netflix or something you can watch that's like 20 minutes longer.
It's a crying shame.
Which I haven't seen yet, but that's what I watched.
Nice. Right on. I have watched some TV. I watched the first 2 episodes of the new season of True Detective.
Oh, yeah, me too, yeah.
I haven't seen any of the other True Detectives, right? So, I'm digging that. Yeah. I like it. And then I've watched the first 2 episodes of Monsieur Spade.
Right. I still got to get on that.
I really like it. Yeah. It's just kind of it's like a treat.
Has John been watching it too?
Yeah, he's been watching it. Yeah. We got AMC Plus just so we can watch it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we'll cancel it once the show's
right.
on.
Yeah. Of course.
So I've been watching that. And then actually last night I watched Equalizer 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I enjoyed it for what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of fun for what it is.
There was a couple parts where I'm like, how old is Denzel Washington?
He's fucking old, bro.
And I mean, there's a part with a girl, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is a love interest? Like, what is she, like 30 and he's 60? Like,
yeah. Well, how old is Denzel Washington at this point? I mean,
I don't know.
I was like, okay, he's getting old because he's got like this baggy fucking outfit on the whole time. So
yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, it kind of hides.
But they actually make him pretty good.
He's 69, bro.
Holy fuck.
69 years old and he's kicking ass. He's a slasher killer in that movie.
Oh, he's awesome. He's like a Liam Neeson style.
Yeah,
Neeson's
like
style.
Taken. Yeah. Doesn't he shove a gun like through someone's head and then shoot through it?
Yeah, he shoots the eyeball and keeps shooting to make a hole, and then
he sticks the gun through the head to shoot someone else.
It's brilliant. Wish I thought of that.
I remember there was he did a good stabbing too to that guy out in the street.
Yeah, he like through his like lower jaw, right? Like up through his head. I liked it for what it was. It's very it's just a popcorn movie.
It's like a dad action.
Yeah.
Although a little more violent maybe than the regular.
I like the violence. It's good.
Exactly.
So I enjoyed that. And I think next on my list I'm gonna watch that Bottoms movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It was hilarious to me.
So I'm gonna watch that. But other than that, I haven't really watched that much. So why don't we get to the movie this week? This is a Patreon pick, right?
Yeah, Sam wanted us to do this one.
Sam he was craving it. We watched 1994's The Crow. Let's hear a trailer.
People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes, just sometimes, the crow could bring that soul back to put the wrong things right.
You're all going to die.
Is that gasoline I smell?
Victims, aren't we all?
All right, 1994, The Crow. So a man brutally murdered comes back to life as an undead avenger of his and his fiancee's murder. So this is starring Brendan Lee, Michael Wincott, Ernie Hudson, who else? David Patrick Kelly.
Yeah, David Patrick Kelly's in this. Bai Ling. A few people. Tony Todd.
Yeah, so definitely a few people. Dustin, why don't you tell me about this film and your history?
About The Crow, yeah.
About The Crow.
So I didn't see it in theaters when it came out, but I think I was like 14 or 15 or something when this came out.
No, you were like 28. This is 94, bud.
Mentally, I was 28. But I remember getting it on VHS, like owning it on VHS. And I was really into it. Like I was rewatching it. It's been a long time since I saw it. It's just got that 90s comic book shit going on, which at the time, that's when comic books were like, let's get fucking dark.
Yeah.
Like, let's, even mainstream comics like Batman are like, let's get way more fucking dark with this shit. And of course we had Spawn and The Crow and all this stuff and Sandman. But so I appreciated getting back into the atmosphere of this movie. But I'm very curious. I assume you haven't seen this before?
No, well, okay, so before I give you my opinion, I didn't know anything about this movie other than this is the movie that Brendan Lee
Dies, yeah.
Right.
While he was making it.
I didn't know anything about it, like nothing. Like I was watching it, I'm like, is this a comic book?
Yeah.
And so I got that it was a comic book movie, and then I was like, did Heath Ledger watch this and come up with the Joker? Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a part of his what informed his Joker performance.
Because there's so much from this that I'm like, this is the Joker. Like
Except he's like the protagonist.
Yeah, it's like a emo good guy Joker.
Well, before emo, we had a thing we called Goth, James.
Fuck Goth.
And this movie is goth as fuck.
It is goth.
I think you're definitely onto something there. Like I definitely think Heath Ledger took a little of this at least and put it into what he did with the Joker.
Well, he took this and then just made it like crazy villain.
Yes.
Right.
He's more over the top, I think.
Yeah.
Like Brandon Lee in this is, he's an interesting like kind of hero character because he is kind of crazy a bit, right? Like, and kind of, he's weird and his line deliveries are kind of strange and stuff, which is kind of what makes him stand out, I think, at this time.
I actually am quite surprised. by his performance.
Yeah. Pretty different from like Showdown in Tokyo or Laser Mission, which we've been on the show previously.
I think he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, he's great in it.
It's too bad. Like, I think it would have kind of propelled him to...
I think so, for sure. Like the next level, right?
Yeah.
Because, the movies he had done before were kind of like stepping stone movies.
Yeah.
You're building up your career, and this was like going to be his first sort of bigger mainstream thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even mainstream. It wasn't like mainstream, but certainly a big step up from what he had already done.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just, absolutely tragic that he was killed on this. I remember hearing it on the radio because I used to drive to school and I would listen to the Fox.
Fox Rocks.
Fox Rocks, man. And they, I remember them like talking about it on there and how he died and got shot while shooting the scene. For people who don't know, they fired like a dummy bullet that was still in the barrel. It was supposed to have been cleared out after they had used this, gun for a previous scene. And so when they shot the fake round here, it like propelled the previous fake thing out and it like shot him in the stomach and then he ended up dying.
Yeah, like I don't know how it works with, prop guns and like, because we just had that Alec Baldwin.
Right, which is
incident.
still kind of ongoing, the whole
Rust
legal stuff of that, yeah.
Now that, from what I understand, was different because there was like live rounds.
Yeah,
that were like mixed in or some shit.
Yeah,
and
which is like, how the fuck does that happen?
The prop person was
set?
Drunk or whatever.
But I was reading about this incident, and it's equally surprising that something like this could happen, where it was like the person who oversaw the gun stuff on set had gone home for the day, and so that meant that one of these other prop people in the movie was in charge of it, but they didn't know anything about gun stuff, so they didn't tell the people to clean out the gun before they shot this new scene.
Oh.
And so when he fired it, one of the actors fired it at him. And
yeah, I read that. Like the actor that fired it, he didn't act for quite a long time.
Yeah.
After. Yeah, I mean, it's tragic. It's very tragic.
28 only he was. When
I
shot
mean,
this movie. Now, I guess he had shot most of his scenes, so that's how they were able to still finish the movie. And they brought in, they kind of did a few rewrites to sort of change the way they would shoot some of the final stuff. And they used his stunt actor, Chad Stahelski, director of the John Wick films and like Keanu's stunt double and stuff like that. He was the stunt double in this, so they used him, and then they very early digitally put like Brandon Lee's face on and a couple scenes, but I think they're like quick moments, so you don't really notice. Because, the digital stuff at this time, not the greatest.
Oh, yeah, because I read a thing where they made a mask because they had a mold of his face.
Oh, yeah.
And they made a mask, and it was too eerie for people that they, like, destroyed the mask, and they just used the digital.
Well, and it's a weird movie to watch knowing that he died while making it. Because it's this whole movie about this character who is killed and comes back to life to get revenge. It's just strange. It's just all strange. And it's because it's sort of like this, like you said, we said gothy, whatever kind of, emo, you could say emo movie.
Yeah, goth, whatever. Fucking hardcore.
I don't know. It's like, he's kind of like, almost like you're watching a ghost or something while you watch the movie. It's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think this would have been a launching point for him, which is really too bad.
You know what? The crazy thing is so like, I watched this week, and then for whatever reason, I was like flipping through YouTube, and then I get onto, I don't know what it was, but they were talking about Chris Farley, who did the voice work for Shrek.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much done. Like that movie, like he pretty much was done all the voice work when he died. And I guess they asked his brother to come finish it off because he could do like
voice,
a spot on impression of him, and he said no.
Right.
And
yeah, that's interesting. And I guess it's just personal to each person, right? Like how they feel about that stuff. Because in this case, I was like, oh man, they went ahead and put the movie out anyway, even though he died. But apparently, like, his fiance, similar to in the movie how he has a fiance.
Yeah.
In the movie they both get killed, but he was about to get married also in real life, and his fiance was like, no, let's put it out, because it's like a monument to him, right? Like,
right.
Okay, he died, but let's put out his work, and so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And so that part's all, that's of course interesting backdrop to everything here. But
totally.
The thing that I really love about this movie, I mean, there's a lot of flaws in this movie for sure, but the thing that I really love about it is the atmosphere of it. The grimy fucking city.
It's so Gotham.
Yeah, it is. It's like Gotham, but if you cranked it up.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
It's just like the rats in the gutters, fucking filth.
It's so
It's supposed
dirty.
to be Detroit, I believe, that they're in. But I love the whole feel of that, the production design element of that. It's so fucking grimy. Like, you know, sometimes I like these old New York movies where New York is super grimy, and like somehow I feel like the director here, Alex Proyas, and all the people that worked on this managed to like, let's make it even fucking sleazier than feeling than those movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's so grimy. It's so dirty.
It's always raining.
It's always raining. Like all of the like villains are just scumbags.
Yeah, absolute scum.
Absolute scum. I mean,
David Patrick Kelly, 2 weeks in a row here for us.
Yeah. The main guy.
Michael Wincott.
Michael Wincott. Top Dollar is his name. He is such an awesome villain.
Yeah,
like,
he's great.
I just love him.
His voice is just so gnarly. You know, at that time, I remember watching him in a few movies at this time, like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He's in, and he was like the bad guy in that Eddie Murphy movie Metro. Did you ever see that? It's an action movie.
No.
He just popped up a lot at this time, and then I didn't see him forever.
Yeah.
But then he was in Nope, like a year or two ago back.
Oh yeah, okay.
The Jordan Peele movie. He was like did you watch that movie?
Yep.
He's like the camera guy that they bring in to like try to shoot the alien thing. He's the super gravelly voice. You probably you're not recognizing him because he's old now.
No, I don't recognize him.
Yeah, he's in that.
Huh.
But yeah, he's fun. Like, and he's such a weird villain. He's
so weird.
He's got all these swords, and he's got the like English, like, I don't know, swashbuckler outfit that he wears and stuff.
I love, you have the grimy city, you have the dirty scumbag, like lower level guys, and then you got, you know, Top Dollar here, who's like, dressed in like this weird clothing with swords and knives, and then like sucking the burnt like smoke from eyeballs, like inhaling it, like just weird shit.
Yeah, it's really weird shit. And then his like girlfriend / sister, apparently.
It's his sister.
Yeah.
But
we first meet them. They're in that like bedroom, and there's like a naked girl asleep. Yeah, he like turns her over, and he's like, I think we broke her. She's dead. And then that's when she cuts the eyes out. She's like, she has such pretty eyes. And we see her she does that sort of thing a couple times in the movie. There's like these gross, fucked up, I don't know, like,
it's very
maniac
weird.
people. I don't really understand his whole like business model, because he's just like, go light fires and we'll make profit. I'm like, what? How does that work? We skipped a step in there somewhere.
Okay, so it's what, the Devil's Night or something?
Devil's Night, yeah, the night before Halloween.
Yeah, and it's like their whole thing is to like light
it's just
the
like
city
chaos,
on fire.
like go out there, start fires, fucking, you know, fuck people up, kill people, rob them. I don't know. Like, it's just like create chaos, and then somehow out of that there'll be some sort of business opportunities for him, I guess.
It's very odd, and I don't understand.
Yeah, they never really explain how that works, but
I do love the cops too, because the cops, like, there's so many of them, and they have like, even their uniforms remind me of Gotham. And then you have Ernie Hudson, who I guess used to be a detective, but it was demoted to a beat cop.
yeah, he's been like busted down.
And so that other detective's like busting his balls all the time. They have like some weird fucking thing going on, which I found funny too.
Yeah, they're pretty antagonistic with each other. Yeah, or I guess Ernie Hudson's is one of those guys who can't let it go, kind of like the crime, whatever. Yeah. And so, you know, he cared too much, so they like demoted him because he wasn't coming up with the right perspectives, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, that stuff's fun. I like Ernie Hudson in this. The kid is a little annoying. The girl, but, you know, what do you expect? And
yeah,
I think that's usually the case.
I love Tony Todd.
Yeah, he's like the right-hand man in this.
He's awesome.
For Michael Wincott's character.
So, like, I was trying to think... The thing about, like, you know, like movies from the 80s or 90s, and maybe it's just because we watch so many movies now, like we don't pick up on all these different, like, character actors. But, like, Tony Todd, for example, like, he is so awesome and so badass as a right-hand henchman that it's like, yeah, this guy's in like so many movies, plays this kind of role, like this particular like enforcer role. And I'm trying to think of like, do we really see that very much? The same kind of guys? A lot of times now in action movies and stuff, it's just like, you know, fill in henchmen. They all kind of look the same and they all just die.
They don't stand out. Like Tony Todd, I feel like he's just as iconic as Michael Wincott, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He's his own cool character in this. I like how he's kind of all business. Like he's got these nice suits. He seems like the most well-adjusted of all these people in this criminal enterprise.
Yeah.
He's doing the sort of lawyerly side of things, but then, you know, he also ends up like throwing down with guns and stuff later on in the movie. So he's not just like the bookkeeper or something.
Yeah, exactly. He's badass in his own right.
Yeah. And he just brings a cool presence to it. And, you know, pretty different from like his, you know, role as like something like Candyman or whatever. But that's kind of the fun of it. Like, I like that he's all buttoned down and shit.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I don't know why he's working for these fucking depraved lunatics.
Well, and that's why it's like, okay, so everything that's happened, I'm like, okay, I mean, it's got to be a comic book.
Yes.
You know, watching it. Because you have
the
all
world
these...
feels
yeah,
so
the world.
comic-booky, yeah.
There's so many things that I'm like, I really didn't like, you know, like he's playing the guitar on the roof. I'm like, this is so fucking lame. And... I really didn't.
I loved how those rooftops looked though, with like the fake sunrise background and like those fake roofs that would show like it would pan over this fake city.
I like that because to me that's so like Gotham-y.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't a big fan of the weird like warping that would happen where they would
the way some of the like stuff was shot, like the weird cuts and stuff.
Yeah, it was a little too much for me.
It's pretty stylized, this movie.
Yeah.
Especially like I feel like more of the front half is like really heavy on that kind of stuff. You know, changing like filters and quick cuts and weird lenses and all that kind of stuff. I feel that stuff works more for the flashbacky scenes, which we get, which are more at the front of the movie. I don't know. It's a cool style, but part of that is like, you know, if I watched it now, I might not think that, you know, for the first time.
Yeah.
But because I was a teenager at the time that I saw it, and this was like, this felt like a sort of organic type of filmmaking that showed up at this time, and you know, David Fincher kind of has a, you know, kind of takes some of this look, but you know, watching it and I'm thinking of the look of it and I'm like, okay, Seven came out the year after this, dark looking movie. And then Alex Proyas, the director, he did Dark City, which preceded The Matrix and had a lot of the same themes and ideas in it, and also was like this fake weird city that they were in and stuff.
I mean, I can appreciate it, like knowing obviously it's from 94. But I can appreciate that, like, I can see other movies, I can see other styles that are in movies that I don't know if they originated from this movie, but it seems kind of like they did.
Yeah, I mean, I think some stuff definitely took from it. Like, I think the Wachowskis took from this for sure. And then other stuff, it was just like organically happening, you know, when people have the same idea around the same time because they've been influenced by the same culture that was coming before, right? And so stuff like Fincher and whatever like that was happening around the same time. But obviously this is pulling from like Tim Burton's Batman, but then just get rid of the camp and make it super more dark,
there's kind of some camp because
there is a little bit of
he
humor.
tries to like tell jokes and be like fun, which but it's like
off-putting because he's weird.
Because he's weird.
Yeah.
But also like, you know, I like how the cop, Ernie Hudson, I like how he's just like, I don't know, just goes along with like, this is the reality, I guess.
Yeah, he just accepts it. I mean, it's one of those things in a movie like this where it's like, well, we have to get past that right away because otherwise we're not going to spend a bunch of time on that. So he just has to accept that this is what's going on and we'll move. They've got that funny scene where he blows up the pawn shop. The Crow.
I love that guy in the pawn shop.
Yeah, John Polito, great character actor.
Awesome.
That's a fun scene. He shoots the rings out of the shotgun and like blows up the pawn shop. And then Ernie Hudson shows up and he's like, freeze or you're dead, or don't move or you're dead. And he says, I say I'm dead and I move, or something like that. This is like all these weird weird lines. And he's like, he's like some freak of a mime or something like that.
Oh yeah. What does he say? I'm gonna have to look it up.
That freaky mime, he's out here on the streets now because I turned my back or something like that, to that effect. But I don't know. There's a lot of fun moments like that, and again, using that backdrop, I just love the feel of being in this. It's almost like a fictional city. Like it's supposed to be Detroit, I think, right. But it feels like it's its made up comic book city, like Gotham, like you're saying. I love the gang. Like the
gang is
when there's
hilarious.
the scene where they're like, they each take turns like swallowing a bullet, like doing a shot, swallowing a bullet, and then they have this. Like,
that's so weird.
They have their like chant. It's like fire it up, and they all get crazy. And then when they get down to just having the one like meth head guy left because they've all been killed at this point, and he's like, oh man, T-Bird is dead, and then he's like fire it up, like a sad trying to do like the old gang thing again. We got the knife guy.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call him? Tintin.
Yeah, he throws knives.
He throws knives. He never misses. I like that where he like slaps the knife out of the air when he throws it at him and stuff.
Yeah,
the action is pretty good.
The action is pretty good. I like how he goes like one by one after all of them, and there's supposed to be this tie, the tie back, the flashback to when they were like raping his fiance or killing him.
Yeah,
it's like he has to like, you're like as if you don't already know that these guys are the ones. They have to show them in the past
them what they did at the time,
and then so he tries to do that to them or something.
Yeah, he sticks all of Tintin's knives in him.
Yeah.
What does Ernie Hudson say to the detective? He's like, I think you can rule out accidental death or something like that. And he leaves the crow symbol every time he kills one of them. He's got the blood on the wall for the one scene. And of course, the more iconic later on in the movie when he lights the gas on fire and it does the big crow symbol and stuff.
Yeah, and like that is very comic booky.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because it's like, so I don't know what you're supposed to get from that. Like, because have you read the comic book?
No, I never did. It was an underground comic. And so,
okay.
I loved comics and stuff, but there was a lot of stuff I wasn't exposed to, especially at that time in the 90s.
Because like, I wonder like what's supposed to happen after this? Is he supposed to fight crime?
Yeah, does he just go about regular?
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know how long it ran either. Like if it was just a mini series and it ran a certain amount of time. I was reading a little bit about the guy who wrote it. I think it was James Barr or something like that. Forgive me if I got that wrong, but he wrote it because his fiance died in a car accident.
Oh, okay.
And so he wanted to kind of turn all these feelings into this sort of story.
Right.
And so he wrote it, and then he tried to shop it around to do a movie.
Yeah, I heard of a hilarious one.
Right, with a Michael Jackson musical.
Oh my God, you imagine that?
Oh, that would be so weird.
That would be so weird. Michael Jackson, a musical, The Crow.
Yeah, that'd be just bizarre. but then so these two writers, and actually I got some of their books on my shelves here, horror writers, David Scow and John Shirley, they ended up getting a hold of it and writing a new script for it and stuff. And that's when I think Paramount was originally going to put this out, but then when Brandon Lee died, they were like, we're not gonna do it now. And so I guess Miramax came in and like spent a bunch more money to finish up shooting, and they're the ones who put it out. And then it was actually a pretty big fucking hit. Like, not a colossal hit, but I think that it was like a $23 million budget, and they made like 50-60 million on it. So
okay,
pretty respectable hit for this kind of movie at the time. And then, you know, ended up spawning, I think there's 3 sequels, and then there was a TV series as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen any of those?
I've seen the first sequel, which doesn't have Brandon Lee in it, of course, obviously.
So what's a sequel about?
I fucking don't remember, man. I remember I watched it. It's like City of Angels, I think it was called. And I remember I did not like it, and so I never revisited it, and I don't remember shit all. I think the 4th one has Edward Furlong from Terminator 2, the kid. He plays the Crow in the 4th movie. Huh. But
okay.
Yeah, I can't speak to the rest of those at all. And the second one, even like I remember not liking it, but I don't remember anything fucking about it. So
right.
I imagine they have their fans too, but
oh, probably.
But yeah, there was also a TV show too. So the Crow lived on. Definitely made an impact from just the success of this first film.
I mean, I like the concept. I like him coming back, and like it's a great. Like, this movie is a great origin story of the Crow, like how he came to be. I imagine he goes on to fight crime.
He must in some other way, but I mean, yeah, I'd be interested to know, actually, now that you bring it up.
And I do like how he can see things through the Crow's eyes.
Yeah,
I like that.
That kind of helps him out when he sees certain things from a different angle.
It's interesting in this movie, they kind of reveal what his weakness is, which is the Crow. Yeah. Which is kind of fun too.
Yeah, and it's Bai Ling's character, who's like, I guess she's some kind of witchy woman, right? Because she's in the car with Tony Todd and Michael Wincott's characters, and she's like, you can hurt him through the Crow. If you can kill the Crow, you can basically make him mortal again. But also, she kind of wants to catch the Crow and like harness the power of it somehow for herself.
Yeah, through the eyes. The power's through the eyes.
Right, of course, through the eyes.
You have to inhale the burning of the eyes.
Right, of course.
Right? I mean, it makes sense.
Obviously. That just made me think of when Michael Wincott is like, oh, well, let's all say goodbye to so-and-so because one of his guys died or whatever. And then he's like, does this line from this huge mountain of fucking cocaine on a table in front of him.
Oh, yeah. It's like an obscene amount of cocaine.
Yeah. But of course, she ends up getting her own eyes plucked out by the Crow in that final set piece. Which is
sweet justice.
Yeah, pretty nice. She was going to cut the little girl's eyes out at one point. I'm like, that's a little much.
She's got a thing for eyes.
Yeah, she really does. She's like a fucking Dario Argento or something. She's really got a thing for eyeballs. But yeah, or I should have said Fulci. I guess they both had a thing for eyeballs. But anyway, pretty cool action here too. Like when you get to that set piece, well, there's the one where he comes to the place where Michael Wincott is meeting with all his gang leader guys from the different gangs.
Which I love that. You get to see all the different characters.
It's like it's almost like Dick Tracy or something.
It's totally like a Dick Tracy.
He's like, okay, so tonight we're going out there and we're gonna
Hammerhead, what do you think?
We gotta make we gotta make a fire so big that God sees it. It's like that thing where it's like, step 1, burn the city down. Step 2, ? Step 3, profit.
I just love, because like, I honestly didn't think about it, because I'm just like, okay, he likes to fucking set fires. I don't know. But then you're like, yeah, how do you make money? Is it supposed to be like, we're sending the police a message? Like, we're going to fuck shit up?
Or is it supposed to tie more into like, the whole reason that he sent his gang guys to the girlfriend's apartment in the first place was that she was protesting the eviction notices that were coming to the people that lived in that building. and so he sent them there to like fucking get them out of there because he owns that tenement. And he wants them out so that, I don't know, for whatever reasons, he can raise it to the ground.
It's like a real estate grab.
Yeah, it is. But they barely talk about it, like barely in the movie.
I see. So what he's doing is he's finding properties that he wants to purchase, and he's burning them to the ground.
He just wants the land.
So he can get the land.
Want the nasty building.
So he can get the land to build hotels and stuff.
And I mean, it wouldn't have been hard to build. It wouldn't have been hard to burn that building down because they had so many goddamn candles in their.
Oh, I know,
in their
right?
bedroom. These fucking goths. But yeah, I guess he makes like an allusion to it in the final scene when they're fighting, and he's like, "Nothing goes on in this city that I don't have a hand in," or whatever, you know. I just thought it's so funny because they don't really explain what he's doing or why he's doing it.
No, not at all.
And I mean, I get that the crazy gang guys are just like, yeah, let's go out there and fucking tear shit up because they're just like, you know, nutcases or whatever.
But you know, I guess the Devil's Night is like the Purge. I guess
they make it this big thing in this, and there keeps being news reports where the reporters are like,
the fires have started again.
Yeah. And the cops are like, oh, they've only done like 7 fires this time. That's nothing compared to last year. And Ernie Hudson's like, well, they got 3 more hours. Maybe they're late starters or something. It's like, oh, okay, this city is just like a fucking hellhole.
It really is.
Yeah. Can you imagine like living here? I love it though. I love the hot dog stand that the girl goes to eat with the cop and all that stuff.
She doesn't get onion rings or onions because they make you fart.
Make you fart. And we got the heroin addicted mom who's fucking the gang members and stuff. That lady, I feel like, was so typecast. Anna Thompson, I think her name is, something like that. Every movie she's in, she's like a down on her luck waitress or, you know, type of character.
Yeah. I mean, she looks like Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, kind of. Drew Barrymore's like welfare mom or something.
Yeah, I guess. Like the poor man's...
yeah, the really poor man's Drew Barrymore.
I guess.
Terrible.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird movie.
Remember he grabs the mom and he's like makes her look in the mirror and he's like squeezes her arm so the heroin like drips out of it, like oozes out of her.
Yeah, he's
arm.
Got like supernatural powers, right?
Like, yeah, and he's like, you should be looking after your daughter, basically. And then suddenly she transforms into trying to be a good mom. A good mom, yeah, in the next scene. And then we never see her again for the rest of the movie. That's the other guy. He kills that guy and sticks a bunch of like
all the
syringes
needles
in his chest in the shape of the crow symbol and stuff. But that scene when he shows up at the warehouse with all the drug dealers.
It's like, this guy really loves his crows.
And they all just like shoot the shit out of him, and then he pops up, starts rolling around. And we were just talking about Last Man Standing, and I was talking about how I felt the action in that was pretty informed by John Woo, but I have to say that again here. Like, there's definitely some Woo shit. He's falling backwards with 2 guns and shooting a guy above him so that he falls off. And it's not like, you know, super blatant, but there's stuff in here where I'm like, this absolutely is informed by some of that stuff. And the end sequence too, once they get that final shootout in that church.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so he definitely watched The Killer because the final shootout in that is in a church like that. The sword fight on the roof, Michael Wincott, his fucking getup and his swords. So good.
I love that it comes down to a sword fight.
Yeah. He's got like a ninja sword in one scene. And then I think he has like in that scene, it's more like a, I don't know, traditional like fencing sword or something that he's using. But, well, he kills John Polito with a sword too. The pawn shop owner.
Right.
When he's like getting him to tell him what happened to the pawn shop. And then he sticks the sword in him and he's making a whole bunch of gurgling noise. And he's like, don't you just fucking die? And he like
shoots him.
There's some funny lines in this. Also in John Polito, when the crow comes into his pawn shop, he keeps saying shit on me. He's like, shit on me, shit on me. I was like, this is weird choices of lines.
Like, it's a very weird movie. It's so 90s.
Oh yeah.
Which
Barely,
I love.
You could barely get more 90s than this.
Yeah, I love. I mean, the music alone is just like, okay. Like, I was watching it, and my wife was sitting on the couch, like doing whatever, and the music's playing, and I'm just like, I think I fucking hate the music from the 90s because
it doesn't strike me as your kind of stuff.
It was so much, like every fucking song. I'm just like, I think I don't like grunge or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's like some grungy stuff here, like alternative, like industrial-ish stuff and like gothy stuff all on here on the soundtrack of this, like, you know, like 9 Inch Nails and fucking Jesus and Mary Chain and all this kind of stuff like that. So it's I mean, you kind of had to be there, I guess.
I guess yeah, it's something.
It's a lot. The whole final sequence is pretty fun though. In the church, Ernie Hudson shows up to help save him. Now he's like mortal because they shoot the crow. Tony Todd shoots it with a sniper rifle, but he kind of only wings it, I guess.
Yeah, it just is limping.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's still alive. He's got to get it.
Now, okay, I forget how it ends. So I know they're on the roof.
Yeah, they're fighting on the roof. And then it looks like Michael Wincott's about to win because he's like stabbed him. They already shot him earlier, and now it's like affecting him. Like earlier in the movie, we see all the times he gets shot, the bullets, like the bullet holes disappear and stuff. And he's like, "Let me give you something," and he puts his hands on Michael Wincott's face, and he transfers like the agony that his girlfriend experienced before dying.
11 hours of agony.
Whatever it was, like all at once or something like that. I was like, that's a fucked up idea.
That is pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Because he experiences it through Ernie Hudson having been there, and he like takes those memories for himself.
Right.
And he's like that would be so brutal, right? To like, why would you want to see that? Like your fiance raped and then dies from her injuries and stuff. And he just like transfers that pain to the bad guy. I was like, that's kind of a fucked up, but interesting idea, interesting way. Because it could just be like such a common like, oh, I shot him, I stabbed him. What are you gonna do, right? So he does that, and then Michael Wincott falls and is impaled on that like gargoyle thing.
Oh yeah,
and the blood like runs out of its mouth.
I fucking love that choice, because when I saw those gargoyles earlier, when it was rain, when it's raining, because it's always raining. How it's going like out of their mouths.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking sick. And then the blood at the end, I'm like, fucking smart choices.
That was good.
That was really good.
Loved it. Yeah, just enough of a gore horror moment there.
Yeah, that was so good. But what happens to the crow at the end?
Well, I don't know what happens to the bird. It plucks out, Beiling's eyes, and then I don't know what it...
Yeah, but what happens to Brendan Lee?
I think he's like, I'm done. I got to go back to the grave now. Like,
I'm going to go back in my hidey hole.
Did what I came to do. I killed this gang. Fixed the city. I just created a vacuum, and like a worse gang will move into it.
Well, we've seen enough movies. We know how it works. I'm going to go back in my hidey hole and fucking...
Till I'm resurrected again. I can't remember for sure. I don't even know if it's supposed to be the same. I don't think it's even supposed to be the same guy in the second movie. Like, I think it's some other guy becomes the crow, like he gets the spirit of the whatever.
Man. I hope to God in the second one, somebody's like, I've seen this before. Detroit, 1994. Or some shit.
There's a freaky bird flying around and suddenly...
But it's just like...
A man, you wouldn't die.
I kind of love that concept of like every fucking sequel is a new guy, and it's just like, man, this reminds me of 1994 Detroit, and then there's like another one wherever the fuck it is. It's like fucking Louisiana, the Bayou, fucking witchcraft. The next one's like, I don't know, fucking in Hawaii or some shit.
It's hard to do anything gothy in Hawaii.
I know, that's what makes it so great, though.
He's got
it's a real fish out of water.
The crow has like a Hawaiian shirt on.
It's a real fish out of water movie.
He's drinking daiquiris out of a coconut or something.
Yeah.
We could take this in a lot of directions, guys. Look at this. You see the producers now. Crow in Hawaii. The crow.
I mean, you could have The Crow like so many sequels because it's just like pick a new location, a new person.
The Crow in Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Although they might really do that one. But yeah, so there's a remake apparently coming out this year, 2024.
What?
Alexander Skarsgård is playing the Crow apparently, and apparently it's done.
We got a motherfucking Skarsgård.
It's done
here?
shooting, from what I understand.
What the fuck?
So maybe later this year we'll be reviewing the remake at some point.
That's weird.
Yeah, kind of a trippy timing here. Or maybe Sam is smarter than us and he knew that was going to happen.
Well, he is smart. We are fucking morons.
I remember hearing that there was a remake, but I didn't know they had already finished making it. It's like ready to go.
Do you know what it's called?
I mean, I'm assuming it's just going to be like
it's just The Crow.
Yeah.
Huh.
There you go. New Crow. Anyone on the cast list of interest in that, other besides Skarsgård?
Let's see. Skarsgård, Danny Huston.
Oh, Houston. Danny Houston, yeah.
Houston, sorry. Laura Byrne. FKA Twigs. I don't know.
Oh, I love FKA Twigs.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Is that a person?
I guess. It looks like pretty much
It's
everyone
probably
else
like
is like
a trap singer or whatever, rapper.
Yeah. A modern reimagining of the beloved character, The Crow, based on the original graphic novel.
There you go. So more Crow in our lives probably coming soon, James.
More Crow. Because we are asking for it. That's what people want.
They need more Crow.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, if all the sequels sucked, it's time to do something good again with it.
I guess.
I mean, assuming the sequels all sucked, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that, and it's probably a safe assumption.
So, directed by Rupert Sanders.
I don't know that person.
Such movies as Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, okay, like the live action one.
Yeah.
Interesting. So this is going to be like a CG heavy.
Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh, was that with no, that's the Hansel and Gretel one. I remember the Snow White and the Huntsman existing, but I don't remember who's in it or anything. But
yeah,
anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking matter.
But yeah, so anyway, Alex Proyas directed The Crow, directed Dark City, and then I think he did iRobot,
yeah.
right? Which was all right. That wasn't too bad.
I actually like iRobot is like a cable TV movie.
Yeah, like we were talking about last week, where it's like, okay, this is pretty entertaining. I can throw this on. But then after that, things got kind of weirder. The last movie I remember seeing by him was Gods of Egypt, which was fucking hilarious and weird.
Okay, who is that? Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, I don't think he's in that. The guy from like Game of Thrones is in it. Who else was in Gods of Egypt? Let me see here. Yeah, so Nikolai Coster-Waldau from Game of Thrones was in it.
Is that like? Is there?
Jerry Butts was in it. Chadwick Boseman was in it. The Black Panther.
Okay.
Jeffrey Rush. I mean, not exactly like full of big stars, but it was so weird. It's almost like I almost want people to go and watch Gods of Egypt because it's not good, but it's like fucking interesting, bizarre, and just like
I'm pretty sure
what?
I've seen it.
Did you see it?
I'm pretty sure.
I remember watching it and being like, how the hell did they get a budget behind this thing? Because there's like lot of CG in it. Big monsters and like robotic Egyptian god things and just weird shit.
I think I'm confusing it with there's something with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, Prince of Persia. That was a video game adaptation, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all the same, it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Like they feel like it. they have that similar look to them and all that, all the same CG heavy shit. Have you seen the trailers for this Argyle movie that's coming out? It's like a spy action comedy thing.
No.
It's like Bryce Dallas Howard from the Jurassic Worlds or whatever. Oh wait, was that her or was that Jessica Chastain? I get the two of them confused all the time. Anyway.
Argyle. I did see the preview for this.
It's one of these things where I saw the ad and I was like, I don't think there's a single real thing in this entire ad. Like everything is green screen, everything is CG cartoon. Like it just looks like one big fucking
Isn't this a Kingsman spinoff?
No, it's the same director that did Kingsman.
I thought it was like a spinoff.
And it's like it's not that far off in a concept either. It's got something to do with spies and stuff. So, but yeah, anyway.
Oh yeah, okay. So she's a novelist who what she writes actually happens.
Yeah.
So all these spies or assassins are out to get her, and then it's some kind of thing with
Sam Rockwell and
like
Samuel L. Jackson, of course, is in it. Because when I saw the ad, I was like, I bet you Samuel L. Jackson's in this.
You know what?
And he is.
Samuel L. Jackson, like, I don't care what the fuck he does. Like he doesn't care either. But it's just like if he's in it, I'm like, whatever, man. You do you. You do you.
Get that money, Samuel L. Jackson.
It doesn't take away from like how great
you can't,
he is.
You can't diminish all the great stuff he's done.
No, not at all.
So he's got a pass to do all
John Cena's in it.
Want to be in the Hitman's Bodyguard? Go for it.
Fucking everybody is in this.
Everybody is in this thing. God. Anyway.
I can't believe all these people. Did you just list all these people? Because like,
well, I said Sam Rockwell and Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't.
Yeah, John Cena.
I didn't know
Bryan Cranston.
Oh yeah, Bryan Cranston is in the ads too. That's right.
Catherine O'Hara.
Huge. Catherine O'Hara. Schitt's Creek.
Why not? Sure. I'm probably not going to watch it.
Yeah, no. I mean, the reason I brought it up is because it's just everything looks phony in the movie, like in the trailer for it. Like nothing. I wonder if the actors were even on screen at the same, or shooting at the same time as each other.
I mean, can it be as bad as Uncharted?
No, but few things could be that bad.
Fuck.
Anyway, let's wrap up The Crow. I think it's a lot of fun. Like I say, I love the fucking atmosphere of it. It is very 90s, so like, you know, that's going to hit you however it hits you. Like it's not going to work for everybody.
It's very 90s. I don't know if it's a good 90s or the 90s I want to be draped in. Right? Yeah. So like,
you don't want to wear some of those leather outfits and stuff?
No. No.
I mean, speaking of which, Brandon Lee is looking pretty thin in this movie. I guess he lost like 30 pounds to get this role because, you know, he was bigger, more muscular kind of guy. And they were like, no, this guy's like a rock musician, whatever. Like he's not, you know, buffed out guy. So he lost all this weight and he was like really devoted to the part and was like, in the rain, he would be like, okay, I'm in the grave. I want to feel like cold and dead. So he would get them to throw all this like ice on him and shit with no shirt on. So he would like feel the cold deadness of the character or something. I don't know.
Right.
I was like, wow, he was into doing this.
He has because he's so like, he lost so much weight. He has like his head, and because it's painted in the way that it is, and his face is kind of somewhat square like, he at times looked like a bobblehead to me. Like his head just looked ginormous. I did
not notice that.
I think it's just because of the painted face.
Right. So it's like hovering out there.
It just is a little much.
In the dark.
For me.
Bobblehead. I bet you can get or at least one of those Funko Pops of the Crow. I'm sure that's out there.
Yeah, you like those?
I fucking hate them. They're like my most hated fucking toy.
Don't they all just kind of look the same?
They look exactly the same. They have like the same dead black eyes on every one of them. Some of them are so like nondescript that I'm like, I don't even know who that's supposed to be. It's just like a guy.
Hey, if you know, you know, Dustin.
If you know, you know.
And obviously you don't fucking know.
No, I don't. All right, what do you got? Let's do some scores here.
All right. Plot 6, kills 6, pacing 4, quote strokes 6, overall 5. It's pretty mid overall from me.
Yeah.
It's 5.4.
Fair enough. I got a little more into that 90s vibe. So I also had the 6 plot. I had 7 action. I had 7 pacing. I had 6 for quotes and tropes. I like a lot of the tropes going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And a 7 reaction. So I'm higher than you at a 6.6.
Okay, so that's a 6 overall, which gives us a tie at 125 with Hard Target,
Wow.
Police Story, Con Air, and Point Break.
I mean, I automatically know that for me, this goes behind all of those movies.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all fucking certified bangers that are all too low on this list.
They're way too low.
Point Break, I mean, that is tragic that Point Break is this low on the list.
Listen, it's that low because there's not a lot of action in it.
I guess, but I don't know.
That's like a more of a crime.
Yeah, I mean, it is an action movie. It's just, I don't know. It's not a non-stop action movie, that's for sure. What was the front of the first couple that you said?
Hard Target.
Oh yeah, Hard Target. No. That's an all-timer.
That should be top 20.
I'm not even disagreeing.
Yeah, top 20. Police Story. I mean,
Police Story. I don't know why we were so hard on that movie. That movie is fucking awesome.
I think because, I like the older or the later Jackie Chan movies, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, what you were exposed to first, right? Was
I think Police Story is, there's a lot of like really big set pieces, but there's like all this stuff in between. So
right.
it's like
kind of kills the momentum a little bit.
So you have like 3 or 4 major set pieces like at the beginning
that are like insane.
They're insane, like the car going through all of those buildings at the beginning.
Yeah, or like the mall fight at the end is just
where you get
nuts.
like 3 or 4 replay shots of him like going
falling,
down. Yeah. Then Con Air.
Oh shit. I mean, cheesy as fuck, but
yeah, and then Point Break. So
yeah.
So it's gonna be our new number 129, right ahead of The Last Boy Scout.
Ouch. Man, we were hard on that movie too.
And Conan the Barbarian.
Last Boy Scout though still needs to be redone because we never actually released that one.
And Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Oh, there you go. Not that far away from.
I like Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Yeah, that's
more.
That's a fun fucking movie. You like that more than this? Yeah, I mean it's more. I think that's more your style for sure.
Yeah,
than this.
Yeah.
This is a pretty specific sort of flavor going on here.
I mean, we're right in the ballpark of our last movie, Last Man Standing, because Last Man Standing is 6.1.
Yeah, and I think I rated this higher than I rated Last Man Standing, and you rated it a decent chunk lower, so then it ended up.
Yeah, so new number 129 on the list.
There you go.
All right, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for going on this 1994 goth journey with us. And thanks to Sam for picking this movie. I don't know if I would ever have watched it personally.
I can't picture it like you like being like, I'm going to watch The Crow.
Yeah, I mean, weirder things have happened. Memoirs of a Geisha, I watched that.
Memoirs of a Geisha.
I watched that. Anyways, thanks for picking it. Thanks for listening. You can catch us up on Instagram at Action Podcast. Talk to Dustin. Tell him how much of a piece of shit I am. And you can find our list on Letterboxd at Action. And you can also find us on Patreon at Action Podcast.
James, I've been deleting all the emails I get where they're like, James is a fucking piece of shit. And I'm like, you know what?
Really?
I'm not passing that on.
I want to read that shit, though. I use that as fuel, okay, to keep doing this shit. Because it's like,
you hate me? Well, I'm coming back next week.
Fuck me, no, fuck you. Okay, I'm going to keep doing it. And you're going to keep listening because you're going to hate listen?
Yeah, I'm going to hate listen to this.
Maybe?
Hate that fucking James guy.
Bring John back.
Bring back John.
Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
It's got skies.